All right, we are on to day 3, and I am so proud of the work that you're doing. You're doing awesome. You're making traction. You are making progress. So let's get started for today. Today is one of my favorite things because we are going to get clear on who your customer is. Now, this is a really important piece, and I know you're probably thinking, Ingrid, when are you going to talk about actually getting in front of people? That's the bit that I'm having problem with. I got the ideas, I just don't know who the person is or where they're at. But I want this to be something that is very deep work for you, because we've all thought like, oh, I'm a photographer, I can take photos of everything for anybody wants anything, I can help them. This is not the way to think, right? I'm really going to challenge you on that, and we're going to get clear on who our customer avatar is. Now, if you've watched some of my videos before, you've heard me talk about customer avatar. You may have even gotten today's worksheet before as a freebie for myself. It's there. It's a valuable document. It has just some prompts in it to help you get clear on who your avatar is. Your avatar is this ideal person who you'd love to work with. And by knowing who that is, giving them a name, giving them some personality, even some traits, it can really help every part of your marketing, and it really makes things so much easier. So when you're writing an email, or when you're making a video, or when you're talking to somebody, you can quickly identify who that, well, if you're making the video, you can quickly address it to that specific person and their needs. And if you're talking to somebody, you can quickly qualify whether or not they are your person. And not that you would discount them if they weren't, but it just really helps to move things along, because not everybody is your customer, and not everybody should be. Even if you had the best camera in the world, if you're doing pictures, you are not going to be able to service every single person. So there is plenty to go around. You can afford to get narrow. And that's what today's assignment is all about. It's getting clear on who your customer is and creating that customer avatar. Now, I won't go through the booklet for you. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just more prompts of deciding who that person is. But typically, if you've thought of a customer avatar in the past, or who's my ideal client, we may have thought about things like, what's their age, what's their salary, where do they live, what do they do, right? These are all surface things. But the things that really are going to give you the most information about your ideal client are the things that are deeper. It's those values. I feel like I've said values in one form or another in every video this week, and that's probably because it's something that's very deep, rooted to my heart and how I teach and communicate in my coaching. Values are the things that tie us all together. Those are those things that we are not going to budge on, right? And the things that we hold true. Now, everybody has their own individual values. One of my values is family, so everything gets run through that family filter. Does it affect that? Other people's values, they might value stuff. They might value having the latest this, that, or the other. They might value time. That's another value. So there's lots of different values, but if you can kind of find the commonality of the value of your ideal client, then you are onto a winner, because you can now speak to them at a level that is much deeper than just the surface stuff, right? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, you're going to figure out what their goals are. What is it, the thing that they are really after, so that you can position your product or your service to match those goals, right? You can talk to them in a way that you're solving a problem, not just another person that is doing blah blah blah, right? Even if it's something as straightforward as selling your note cards, right? This could be said, oh, well, everybody needs a note card. Do they? Do they really need a note card? Does everybody do that? No, the person who writes a note card is somebody that takes time to think about other people. There's somebody that puts time into writing a card. The fact that they would buy a handmade card sets them apart from just, somebody that would go in and to the pharmacy and buy just like a card off the shelf. They're buying a piece of artwork. So this is all the type of stuff that I want you to dig down and find out, right? Dig down. If you can get into this mind of your ideal client, you will be doing yourself such a favor. Trust me on this. Okay. So how do we dig down into the minds of people who we haven't worked with yet? You are going to have to get a little bit uncomfortable with this and go ahead and start doing some market research. Now, I know this can be a little bit off-putting for a lot of people. And if you are feeling resistance here, this is a big thing that you need to break through. All you need to do is ask people questions. And let me tell you, people love answering questions. People love talking, and they love talking about themselves. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's who we are as human beings. So if you open up the questions and give them an opportunity to talk, people will talk and they will tell you the things that they want. The key here is to craft your questions in a very particular strategic way. Not strategic, that sometimes can have a bad way, but you want to ask good questions. It's one of my big secrets to having a good life is always asking good questions. And maybe that's just the coach in me. But the higher quality your questions, the better information you're going to get back. So think about those questions that you're going to ask. Maybe if you've had clients already, you can ask those people, or you could talk to somebody who could be an ideal client, somebody in your network, somebody on Facebook, somebody in the Take 52 group, somebody anywhere. There are people literally everywhere, right? So we want to try and figure out where your ideal client is, who they're hanging out with, what they're doing, where they're going online, what sort of things are taking their interest, what things they have no interest, so that you will be able to formulate your product in a way that's going to appeal to them. I hope this makes sense, guys. I really would appreciate your feedback on all of this in the Facebook group. We will be there again live today. Don't forget to download the workbook. Come and join me for the Facebook live session at 12 o'clock midday, 5 p.m. 12 midday Eastern, 5 o'clock if you're in Europe, or at least in Ireland or the UK. And I have always put in a little link there so you can figure out where you are in your part of the world, because it gets confusing. Time zones are a big thing that I get confused with. Would love to coach you live over any issues you have. Please share in the group a little profile of your ideal client and have fun with it. Give them a name, give them a persona. Really get clear on it. If you're really creative, maybe you have a photograph of that person. Maybe it's somebody you know, and maybe it's even yourself. Quite often that is the case, that we are our own ideal client. And so if that's the case, it's pretty easy. You just ask yourself those questions. All right. Have an amazing rest of the day. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Tomorrow's going to be a fun one. It's a very special day for me, and I have a lot of fun stuff that I'm announcing, and I don't want you to miss. Take care.